What I am about to tell you changed everything I knew about awakening. And if you are still looking for enlightenment to happen to you, listen to my story, because I will share what worked. And I will give you $1 million question that you can ask today and have your answer by the end of this video. I didn't grow up in a peaceful home. My parents were arguing and shouting and crying, and mom was suffering. And even to this day, when I go back home, I can still witness the same pattern. I remember nights when I was waking up, little girl, just checking if my parents are okay, because I could hear screams and crying. And it felt terrifying, and it was traumatizing. So I grew up with that question. Why my parents can be nice to me? Why they are loving and kind to me, but they cannot be living happily with each other? Which led me to study psychology at the university. And when I went there, I thought, oh, I'm going to finally get all my answers, and I'm going to be able to help my suffering mother and get her out into a peaceful, happy place. Like kind of a superhero. But I got deeply disappointed, because at the university I did not learn anything that I could apply. What I was learning was theories of old people, long dead, that supposedly knew about life, but I couldn't use any of it. So after graduating university, me and my boyfriend, then we left for London. And I had to say bye-bye psychology, welcome real life, which meant working hard, being a waitress, and later tattoo artist, which was fun. But that question of how the mind works, what's going on in our experience, what is this reality, kept bugging me. And I kept reading books about it, and I was curious, and I didn't have much information. But that question was still alive, and I needed to work it out. One night, some magic happened. Well, literally somebody brought us some magic mushrooms and said, oh, do you want to take it? I said, yeah, okay, we never did that. Let's see what happens. And boom, the most incredible thing happened. My mind went silent. Not just quiet, silent. There was not one thought coming up. I was just sitting there for hours, being, seeing everything, hearing everything, experiencing. And no narrative was going on in the mind. That was shocking, in a good way. And I tasted that freedom of mind, and I wanted that. This was a beginning of my search, like real search. Before it was just like playing. Now I really wanted to find out what is reality and how does it work. Yeah, I was going into different ways and trying different stuff, and some of them helped and most of it didn't. Like, for example, repeating to myself, I am the power of the universe. I am the light. Trying to convince myself of this. It didn't work. Affirmations didn't work. Maybe for a little bit, just to get me into the bubble of illusion, but after that, more pain, more suffering, more questions unanswered. Until somehow, mysteriously, and very lucky, I would say, an email came through and said, oh, you should check out Jed McKenna's books. At that point, I would read anything, whatever was, promising the exit of this misery I called life. And I read these books, 3 books, 13 days. I had a massive hit into my belief system. It felt like a punch in the gut. And then I recognized a very important thing. The answers that I've been looking for will never give it to me. I needed to look for questions, for the right questions, to open up to dismantle, to dissolve the stuff I believed was true. Well, reading these books set me on a journey to start dismantling my belief system, and which felt really painful and tragic. And at some point I remember I was going on a bus from work home and I was crying because I recognized how everything I knew and I thought it was me and mine and true was what other people told me. Literally, everything I knew was what I learned from other people. I am this, I am that, well, this like this and like that. None of that was coming from me. I didn't know. I didn't know how to think for myself. And the tragedy of this was that I recognized that everyone's like that. Like we all are human Pinterest boards of somebody else's beliefs, ideas, and theories, and thinking that this is original. That hurt. Yeah, so reading these books kind of set me on a depression, and I was questioning everything. Like, what is hope? Do I need hope? What is truth? I don't know what is truth. But I knew I had to look inside, in my experience, to figure it out for myself, by myself, because nothing else is going to do that for me. This was a huge tip or pointer. Look here. Then after a few months, I kind of relaxed a little bit and I thought, I'm gonna Google Jed McKenna and see if there are any more people talking about this and if I could connect with them. And I didn't find anything, because back then it was just the beginning. Nobody was talking about no self or liberation. But I found one forum, and people on that forum were saying this. There is no you. Look. It was staggering. They were so convinced, and they were so insistent that I had to look. I actually looked. And thank you, universe, for that. That was the exit. That was what I was waiting. I was willing and ready to ask the question for myself, by myself, and see the truth of it. So the $1 million question that showed up one morning was so powerful and so instant that everything changed at that point. And I remember I was drinking coffee, looking through the window. Another morning of desperation, trying to figure this out. And then this question came in. Is there Ilona running the show? My mind went silent again, just for a few seconds. And that silence was the recognition that there was nobody here. There never ever was anyone here running the show. The next question that came into the mind was, how? I never questioned that before. How? I never looked this way and checked it for myself, because it was so... It was installed by default that there is this I running the show, that this character is me and I am in control and I'm making life happen and I am in charge and I have to do this and to do that and make this I better somehow to become a better controller of life. But when I looked, I was met by silence. And in that silence, this false idea fell away. And since then, I have been sharing this message year after year. And I'm sharing this today with you. Because this is the last question you may ever need to ask to end the waiting and start seeing what is actually going on here. How is this life working? And there are many variations of this question. Is there I? Is there I at all? Who am I? Do you have any control? What I am controlling right now? But it doesn't matter the question as much as the looking itself. So what is this looking? It's the readiness, the openness, and the willingness to question what you think you know is true. It's like letting a little doubt in, saying, maybe I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. So here's an invitation for you. If you want to see it, you have to look. And you have to look in your own experience, and you can do it right now. Are you running the show? What are you doing right now? Okay, there's sitting or walking or laying. There's just listening to this, hearing the words, understanding, feeling, thoughts come in. What else is there? You are here. You are here, but not as somebody that is controlling anything, but as this space in which everything is happening. The silence that is underneath all the movement. The difficulty here is to take that answer, to recognize that this is what you are looking for. This is the way out. This is the entrance into home, into freedom. But truly deeply recognizing what's going on. So my invitation to you is to stop. To stop with other people's opinions, descriptions, pointers. This is the pointer. This is exactly the one that can cut through all the illusions and get you to look inside. Are you running the show? And if you are having difficulty, that's okay, because it's so radical, it's so different than what the mind has been taught and programmed to believe, that you may meet some blockages and expectations and fear even on the way. But it's okay. Now you know where to look. And when you're ready, you can take a look. Look for yourself. Nobody else can do that for you. This is your quest. This is your journey. What is true to you? Intellectual understanding has its place. And by now, the internet and YouTube is saturated with this no self, no separate self, no control, no free will. But none of that is going to help you. The only thing that will help you is looking for yourself. And you don't need to wait any longer. No one is coming to give you a permission or invitation. It's your turn right now. The only pointer that is needed is the one that takes you to look for yourself. And here you are. It all reveals itself right here, right now. And if you need somebody to walk with you, to hold your hand, I'm here. You can set up a 30 minutes conversation and we can talk together and we can look together. And you may need a few sessions because of all the barriers that are going to come up against the recognition of truth, because the old belief system doesn't want to collapse and it's not going to give up so easily. But that has to happen. It's inevitable. The end of suffering is the recognition that there is nobody here running the show. Bye for now.